Board of Finance meeting to order, 7 o'clock.
Kind of like your suspenders.
We have a full quorum and we have an alternate. We have two alternates. Number 2, public participation. Would any citizen out there like to make a comment or statement or ask a question? Seeing none. Approval of minutes. You received August 26, 2013 Board of Finance minutes. A motion is needed.
Make a motion.
Motion made to accept the August 26 minutes.
Second.
Second by Ms. Gardner. Are there any additions, corrections, deletions, adjustments? Seeing none, all in favor of accepting the board minutes as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions. Am I the only person who always asks for abstentions?
No.
Well, no, I go to the other meetings. They never say that. They go, all in favor.
That's because you're well versed.
Thank you, Robert's rules.
That's what he was waiting for.
Okay. Correspondence. A, this is not a reporting month for the Board of Education. This is not a recording month for the general government. Hence, our town administrator is not here.
He is away at an ICMA conference.
Don't give me initials. I had to stick with that for 39 years in education. All initials. Initials. What is it?
International something of basically the city town manager, city manager
Conference.
Okay.
See, where is it?
I believe in Boston.
Boston.
You're paying for it, Joe, though. Don't worry about it.
Just a drive back. I mean, hour and a half.
Okay, item 5 is Finance Director's Report. We have our town treasurer here. Do you have anything to report?
Make a motion. Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Action fund implementation is underway. Probably can actually start entering stuff into the system at the end of this week. And that's because I've been putting in about 50 to 55 hours a week because building the database and all that. The town will come up online first, and then the other departments will follow in behind. Everybody will be up by January 1 with payroll and everything.
Everything will be up and running by January.
So you will give us a report like every month? Because this sort of stop Joe from asking questions.
I can do that, and actually, speaking of reporting, we could have a system-generated report, kind of like what you're used to looking at with, do you want to just look at people's expenses? So we'd have budget to actual, and we can also report revenues, so you can see where we're at.
All 3 of those would be beautiful.
And we can run them together, we can run them separately, we can give you all 3 versions with income and expenses. One of the things we have to do, like the town clerk's office, for example, has really 2 departments. They list one department for revenues and a different department for expenses. It's going to become one department. And again, we can separate out the revenues and the expenses and things like that.
That's good.
The year end, we're going to do the transfer requests in October due to some late adjustments being factored in. I've actually asked for a list of any fixed assets that have been either acquired or disposed, and I really haven't received that information. So I'm going to have to ask Denise if you can send out kind of a reminder that we need that for the auditors. And speaking of the auditors, they were here and completed their planning stages. They will be back in October to start the actual work on the audit. The audit is scheduled to be completed by December 31st. So that's pretty good. The auditors have stated that they are taking a good hard look at things because there's been 3 people in this position during the fiscal year. A few things have come up. We have to start reporting things a little differently than we have in the past. We have to recognize our revenues and we have to recognize our expenses and report them as such. So one of the departments that comes under scrutiny is recreation, and we're going to have to kind of revise their budget because some of the way the numbers came up had kind of behind the scenes credits to expenses, so we weren't showing a full expense on the books. And this also includes the after-school program. There's going to be some tweaking of how we have to do it the right way according to GAAP. So that being said, they will be back here in October, I don't know exactly when. I've also been in conversation with them regarding what kind of financial reporting would they like to see out of the system, out of AccuFund. And, moving forward, it's just gonna be really wonderful to have a fully integrated
System.
accounting system, yes. And there are ways that we can, even expand or expound and make this even a little better in the future, but we're gonna be going like from living in the jungle to being in a palace.
Prehistoric
right now.
ages.
So welcome to today.
Oh, yeah, and so I've been putting in lots and lots and lots of hours because, you know, we don't have a lot of manpower. And just for point of reference, when Eileen Miskevich started here, we had 25 funds. Right now, we have 100 active funds, not to mention all the projects and other grants and all that kind of stuff going on. We've got many, many more bank accounts on the books, and we're doing it with the same manpower that we had years ago. And it's a lot of work. And on another note, I don't intend to work 50 hours a week forever, so. And that pretty much wraps it up. I don't know if anybody has any questions or.
You brought your concerns to the town administrator in terms of the hours you put in and so on. Do you think it's?
Not recently, again, it's been brought up in the past.
Well, isn't this a short-term, by short-term, I'm saying within a three or 4 month period of time that you expect to be putting in these hours in order to get the system up and
Well,
running?
that's part of it, and quite frankly, when I came here, nothing had been done since November.
Mhm.
And then I have found out that it's been historical practice around here to only do things once a year, which happens to come at this time of year. For example, the library has a checkbook, and Priscilla brought me a package for the auditors, and so nothing had been recorded all year long, not all the deposits, not any checks that were written, any changes, any interest earned on any accounts. I mean, that's just one. That's gonna change.
Right.
I actually spoke with Priscilla and asked her if she would be willing to become a user on AccuFund, and instead of recording things and making photocopies of things and handing it to me at the end of the year, she can enter stuff into the system as we go along. This will also make more accurate financial reporting, because historically you have had quarterly reports and it doesn't contain all the data. There's other funds, again, that weren't touched for a whole year. Some CDs were bought, some were sold, some, you know, just interest, changes in value from month to month to month. It's been, you know, just a huge pile of work that wasn't done. And so part of it was that, and of course, when I came on board too, Eileen also had some vacation time that she needed to take. She did lose some because she worked anyway. And Eileen is usually here till at least 5 o'clock at night. I'm usually the one last leaving the building. Sometimes I've been here quite late. Sometimes I've been here early in the morning. Sometimes I work on the weekends. So I do, it's a huge investment of my time to get the system up and running, but it's gonna make my life somewhat easier and everybody else's, and it's gonna be just really good for visibility and reporting, and but we keep growing and growing and growing as a town, and you know,
Someone's gotta give.
yeah, yep.
So, the next 3 or 4 months are gonna be crucial in terms of your time
Mhm.
that you actually.
And I'm willing to make that investment
Right.
because it's for the good of the town,
Right.
so,
Are you paid salary or?
I'm salaried.
Okay. And you just mentioned that some people bought bonds or
CDs.
CDs. You say a person.
Paula,
Huh?
Paula. And just nothing got recorded, and that's just,
When was it recorded? It has to be recorded.
well, it's recorded, but nobody recorded anything on the books. When my former job, I had
Should be
different
on the book.
investments, and every month I had investment entries to book, changes in value, any
Right.
interest, accrued interest, and
Right.
so forth. Another snag I ran into when I came here, there was a whole bunch of missing statements. I had to contact all these financial institutions and get missing statements and balance stuff from way back. We had outstanding checks on, different various accounts, some of them back to 2007. You can't carry checks that long. I mean, there's just, I could go on and on and on. I've just been doing a lot of cleanup, straightening things out.
So when is it gonna be all cleaned up? By January 1?
Yeah, yeah, yep. Because, whether it's cleaning up accounts and all that, I need things right, I need things accurate.
Right, I mean,
And we're starting with a new system, and I don't want any garbage in there.
Yeah,
So I'm
because-
verifying everything, and
That makes sense.
it just takes a lot of man-hours.
upfront is when you gotta put the time in.
Yep.
You gotta have it right to start, because
Absolutely.
you're gonna get garbage
I
in,
found
garbage out.
4 scholarship accounts, that the last time they were all in balance, and I don't know how Main Street allowed debits and credits to not balance, but it did. There were 4 of them that have been out of whack since 2005.
That's what I don't understand, how come the auditors didn't find half of this stuff?
The thing about an audit is you kind of pick something here and pick something there,
Right,
and
right.
if you're not looking for that one thing. Another little problem that popped up recently involves the WPCA. They have, of course, 2 systems, they're not fully integrated, and,
Yeah.
they have the Fundware system, which has some due to, due froms, and for the past 8 years, any journal entries that, or for like expense reclassifications that Paula may have given to Shanna, she gave her to reclass the expense. She also gave her to add another entry for due to, due from water and sewer. The system, I explained this to Shanna, we walked through it, because we had an expense to reclassify. And I said, you don't have to book a due to, due from entry, because the way I explained it, you have your expense, and there's like an umbilical cord tied to the due to, due from. It doesn't matter if you pay by check, it doesn't matter if you do a journal entry. When you hit this expense, this account that's tied with an umbilical cord is gonna move with it. We proved it out. We ran the, due to, due froms, did the did the reclassification only touching the expense account, and the due to, due froms changed. So therefore, and again, it goes back for 8 years, and it's from not understanding the way the software works. So the due to, due froms were booked in addition to them automatically moving.
So
That's gonna be a huge part.
duplication.
What's that?
There's a duplication.
So, water and sewer, who owes who what? It's wrong. How material is it? I don't know, because I haven't even been able to even get into that. I only discovered that like Wednesday or Thursday of last week. It's always something, so,
Okay.
Always a lot of interest.
yes.
Anybody have any questions?
Welcome to Putnam.
Any more questions? Well, thank you for that very interesting and enlightening report.
You're welcome.
Hopefully you can square.
Better
it away.
times are coming.
Yes, they are,
That's how we have to look at it.
absolutely.
It's all somebody should
Item
say.
6, item 6, A, water and sewer plant updates. Mr. Garso, do you have anything to report?
Yeah, the sewer plant upgrade, will be completed, is estimated to be completed by February 2014. We're presently creating a punch list of everything that needs to be fixed. There's still concern with the UV system because that has periodically, gone offline. So we're holding back money to make sure that that very important system is running and running error-free. They had somebody,
I'm sorry, what was that system?
UV system.
Thank you.
They're coming, somebody was coming in Monday, from the actual, company that installed it. This is one of those portions of the job that, Dickerson, had a contractor do. But it's important that what happens is then it kicks in the system for, chlorination kicks in, we don't really wanna buy chlorine anymore unless we really have to. But that's not the way we should be operating that facility. That's it on the water and sewer plant upgrade, the sewer plant upgrade anyway.
Okay. Now, the 7 wells that we,
That's,
Magnesium?
I believe there's still, that I don't have committed to memory on what the timeline is for getting all our permits. I know we're very close to getting the Little River permit of, I think it's 1.8 million gallons a day. I guess they're gonna allow us. And I'm not sure where the wells stand at this time.
Yeah, 'cause weren't they all supposed to be up in, I thought they were supposed to be all up and running, by the end of the year.
So this year,
Yeah.
I'll have to check. They may have talked about it at the meeting, I just didn't make any notes about them.
okay, Bob, thank you. Item B, 6B is technology park update, and Doug Cutler is not here. And as well as the item C, the Conference Street Dempsey Center update. I think Doug Cutler has the best handle on that. Did he leave anything for you, Denise?
No, I cannot.
Okay.
He was
guess-
under the impression that this would be here.
Yeah, well, it's not. Okay, we'll just have to leave those till next month, so please keep those back on the agenda.
Are any one of these two pressing to the point where?
Well, the only thing, the second one, the third one, the Pomfret Street, I understand that the Facilities Committee, correct me if I'm wrong, pushed that off to the Planning Commission to check out, and we put it on their agenda. So I guess it's in their hands, and they got an extension till
right.
sometime later on. So it's still in the process. Number 7, new business, consideration of a resolution establishing an economic development fund. This we received, and I believe it's from Delta Berry, and is on the
Question I ask, how are we handling it now?
we don't have it now.
How are they doing their work now if they don't have anything?
Well, they didn't have I believe Delta wants to, when monies are raised out of this fund, put it in this trust fund, and put that money back into the industrial park, I guess.
I think it went, if I remember correctly, hearing on the radio, they went to general fund.
The general fund?
That was, yeah, I believe.
They also
Is that
do
right?
have a lot of different accounts that have different monies in them. I don't know what the source exactly of the funds were for either making loans and things, so this would be something, I guess, in addition to that.
Yeah, I wish Delta was here so she could explain this in
Yeah, 'cause
detail.
the problem I have is, we're in the Board of Finance, and we have no control of this fund. I mean, we don't know what's even happening right now with regard to this fund. Checks are being made out by her, and financially, we don't know what's happening with it.
I did discover there were a bunch of accounts that did not reside on the town books, and they now do reside on the town books. She doesn't make out checks herself anymore.
When did that start?
July 1. So, but still, they do have the right to do whatever they want. So really, it's only a visibility thing that the accounts are on the books. The total dollar amount was over $400,000.
It's all when?
But it says right here, it says, Economic Development Fund, motion made by Renee Alasko, second by Alma Mori, to recommend to the Board of Selectmen to bring this item to a town meeting, and the motion carried. So, I don't know if they're looking for our blessing or whatever, but it has to go to the town meeting. But I agree with you, Peter, I think there's gonna be a lot of questions to be answered, and I think we're not in a position to answer those questions, and she has to be here. So can you make a note of that, Denise, and make sure that Delta's here at the October meeting, and put that as the paramount reason we wanted to be here.
I have a question regarding the General Government Committee and the Board of Selectmen minutes. So am I reading this correctly, that there were only 2 people at the meeting?
Right.
How many people people have to be at the meeting to have a forum?
There's three
Well, there's
people
three on the
total.
committee, then two
So
would
two
be
is
a
quorum.
quorum.
There's only 3 people on the Board of Selectmen?
No,
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 there's
no.
a
On
committee,
that
on that
committee.
committee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
typically there's only 3 people on each
Okay.
committee.
You're right. Two are making decisions.
Okay, item 7B, full-time,
There would be only 3 other than
And
full-time building official. Discussion, possible action. President Mayor Peter Place left us a note. He apologized for not being able to get to this meeting. He has another obligation. But on the second paragraph, I just want to let you know my feelings regarding making a midterm change to the building official. I've talked with Lee Post, he feels he can handle what he has on the table right now. I would entertain that the Board of Finance give some thought to adding a zoning enforcement official to next year's budget. So the Board of Finance doesn't have a budget, it has to come from the mayor's budget, I believe.
Right. Plus, he's not here. He can expound on it when he's here.
Well, didn't we have a zoning enforcement official? Was that Cindy Dunn?
Yes.
we cut that.
The position was cut, okay.
When things slowed down a lot
Right.
in the building trade, they decided that she wasn't as needed and cut that position. They also went back to a part-time building official at the same time. So they cut her and him. And like from what I understand, my conversation with them today is they were thinking to push it back up to full-time. And he said that he's not struggling, and I deal with that office quite often in my job. And I don't have any issue with them. I book, they come out, there's always an inspection, and they're fine. So I agree with the mayor in saying a midterm shift is not needed right now.
So he's a building official and a zoning enforcement.
Yep.
So he's handling both
Yep.
without any problem because.
That's by charter.
As of right now, it's by charter.
Right.
He did say that next year's budget, if we could put even a part-time zoning person in to help out with some of the signage and some of the things that are running rampant, it would make it easier, but it's not necessary right now.
I think we ought to let it go the way it is now and review it when it comes up again.
Well, I think it's
The
reviewed
budget-
when the mayor's budget.
When the budget comes up.
Right. Fiscal year 2012, 2013, collectibles. For your information.
So it says 2011 fiscal year, is that,
2011, 2012?
First of all, I can't read these numbers.
yeah.
Yeah, neither can I.
I think I had that question too. Money is the-
Look, I can't read the number?
They're too little.
Too little. See, Sean, you're a youngster, when you get past a certain age,
But
even
wouldn't
with
it-
glasses, it's tough.
Okay,
And I agree with
still,
you, it says
if it's 2011 to
2011.
2012, shouldn't we be looking at 2012 to 2013?
Well, that's what
Because
they.
that budget just
13.
closed.
Yeah, 13's just closed.
Well, it closed in June.
True.
But it says 12, 13 on there.
Why was it 20, like you said, why was it in 2011 in the packet? to Start with.
I have a note that's 2011, however, on the second page it
Second
reads
page.
2012, 2013.
I know, but why was the
But then all those-
2011 put in here to start with? Doesn't
Missy
make
just
any
gave me
sense.
a stack.
Anyway.
Okay.
That horse.
I guess that's just for information.
There you go. Our own edification here.
Right.
But the first sheet says by year. The second sheet's by month. The first sheet starts in '96 and goes to 2011. So it's every year up to 2011 is that sheet, and then,
It was close out.
But you got two
and
to
then
11.
2013, 12 to 13 is the second sheet, broken down by month.
I have no idea what they're for, what are we supposed to do? with it?
20, Sean, they're all 2011 except for one,
Right.
which is the second one. No?
No?
That was just
I had it here, I put it.
Anyway,
Anyway, if we agree with Joe, what are we supposed to do with it?
All right, we've killed more paper,
That's what we did.
killed innocent trees.
No, it's just,
I guess it's for our information, but
well, it's really lovely, it's very-
Well, that's, I mean, it's, I guess, for our information, but I think there has to be some explanation of what we should do about it, or what we're supposed to do with it. I don't know.
Town administrator's gonna be here next month, Joe. We're gonna ask
Excellent
that
question, we can ask him.
who puts this together, Sandra? You did?
No.
Well, who puts that together?
Missy Alden,
Who?
Missy Alden, the revenue collector.
Okay. Missy Alden, the revenue collector.
She might wanna give us a narrative then.
And
Really?
this was just an FYI?
I guess.
We don't know, that's what we're
I would
asking
think
the
so.
question.
That's what she has.
Well, it says
It's in
for your
this.
Could be
For
FYI,
information,
we don't
but-
know.
Right.
Could have put 2002 and it wouldn't make much difference, would it?
Just ask Missy to give us a narrative on that, please. That would be very helpful. Next item is all other business law to come before this board. I asked Peter Benoit to, because he did such an outstanding job on the first one, to add, after we had some problems, and formulate new policy for purchasing town of Putnam. Now, he put the first 6 things together, and he sent it to me, and I read them all, I thought they were outstanding. But I said, there's no penalty if someone does it, if someone doesn't follow this policy. If I was a department head, the heck with this, I'm just gonna order that. There's no policy, so I typed or emailed as best as I could to Pete and said, we need something in there, and Peter revised it a little bit, because I had some things in there. And now there's a number 7, any town employee that purchases any all items that fails to comply with all of the explicit purchasing guidelines set forth herein will be responsible for the payment of such items, thereby not holding the town of Putnam responsible for any such purchase. There are no exceptions. So now if the person wants to buy something
Buy
without...
that truck.
Without, don't bring up bad memories. Without,
Is there a copy of that?
yes,
Yeah,
we haven't finalized, this is just for discussion purposes, but I
Yeah.
wanna go over it with you, because you're the purchasing agent, so you'll have an idea. And I have not seen what a purchase order looks like town of Putnam.
Well, I created something in Excel, I can show you what I'm using.
Don't put it on Excel or...
That's the only
Amy's.
choice I had because, but just listen, when AccuFund is up and running, we have purchase orders on the system.
Okay,
But I had to do something.
yes,
so-
yes, I agree, and this is for your entertainment and enjoyment, and to look at this, because we have a problem, anything over like $10,000 has to go to town meeting, and anything over $5,000. I asked Peter to do it, for items that, as Joe Nash would say, $100 here, $200 there, $500 there, adds up.
Does.
So, this is some, for your perusal for a month, I'd like to put on the agenda to be voted on as a Board of Finance.
Do you have any more?
Yes, we do. And,
You can look at mine from now on.
here's the next item.
Oh, do you?
There you go.
Yeah, you go.
So,
I would like to see us go and fully use the purchase order module that AccuFund has to offer.
Yes, ma'am.
But we need manpower to do that.
we need manpower. We need someone to get fired if they don't follow policies.
But
That's what
no,
we
if
need.
you're gonna use the system and generate purchase orders for everything, that's
Yeah.
a lot of work. That's all I'm saying.
So you're
Yeah,
saying-
but wouldn't each person do their own? I mean, whoever's calling up and buying,
No, they're supposed to come through me. Right, the way it stands right now, any capital items over $5,000, they have to come through me.
yeah, but what
I-
about
talking
$250?
Right now, people just order stuff.
Yeah.
There's no purchase orders.
The way it sounds like here, we're gonna have to make out a purchase order.
Right.
For
The
anything,
supervisor's
But
just
what-
gonna have
yeah.
to sign it, and that's it.
Would it work, the head of every department that has a budget,
would
would
make
it
out
work
their
for
own.
them to have access to the purchase order on the
We
AccuFund?
could do that, and now we're adding, I don't know how many
How many
exact
licenses
numbers.
do you
Right,
need?
that's part of the
That's,
problem.
what was that again?
How many users?
do you
Yeah,
have?
I don't think you wanna do that, I think you just wanna go with the simple purchase order, the paper, whatever
Yeah.
you might have, one or
Plus,
two
if they
counts.
have their own purchase order, ability, you're taking this and throwing it in the garbage, because you're saying they have to follow the order, but they can write out their own, so they can still order what they want.
Yep.
You're not getting permission to order it if you're ordering your own and writing your own number.
Well, I thought the head of department gave the permission.
Right, that's what you're gonna That's
Well,
what it says here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's their
Supervisor.
But
budget.
Jerry Bosley is the head of the Public Works, Willie
Right.
Busk is head of Recreation.
He should be
They've
the
got to
one
oversee
responsible.
what they're doing, what they're
Right.
buying, and make sure they're in the budget. If
Well,
it's $100 or more, they gotta sign it, and he's gotta sign it.
Yeah, that's right, just has to,
You-
it's not that complicated. They just-
But
once
if
they
you-
get used to it, they'll
If you
do it.
happen to look at the thing, the Blaxo and, or economic development thing, I mean, they get a blanket pass.
But I think, Joe, on that, let me go back.
I mean, they don't, I'm not trying to, just because we're talking about it, but.
That's an issue.
I mean, they get a blanket pass on the whole thing. The only time they ever have to do anything is when it's $1 over $4,999, and it gets to.
Who, for economic
Yeah,
development?
yeah, that's what
No,
I get.
they can do whatever they
I
want.
mean, they can do whatever they
They
want.
can do whatever they want, period. There's no,
I mean,
Yeah, but it says who?
That says the
says
federal
their
government.
Federal
charter and
government,
their rules and their
why do-
guidelines,
Their money
bylaws.
comes from that,
what?
where their money comes from.
I understand that, so why do we need this if they can do whatever they want?
No, we need that for
We're
our
talking
people.
about this
Well,
for other town
I agree
people.
with you there, but if, whatever it is, I don't even know how it got here, but anyway, if they don't need any purchase order for anything they buy,
I would
I
like,
guess they can buy anything they want.
They can.
It doesn't make any difference, and that if it needs a town meeting in excess of $5,000, only comes here, so they can, I don't know, I have no idea whether this 400, I don't know any, the first time I heard of it tonight, and where this $400,000 went, came, go, who's spending it, where's it going? I have no idea, sure, it's all going to good things, but I don't know.
All I can tell you is I know where it's going now.
Where's it going?
It's in the bank.
To the bank.
but I think we
They-
should get a report.
But,
Go ahead.
with that, I didn't, anyway, because talking on this evening, but, if in fact you're going to handle this through the treasurer's office,
Mhm.
shouldn't they provide something to us if we're signing off on this stuff as to a report to us where the money goes? It's one thing to talk about Jerry in a truck, but that's a long way from 400 or 200, whatever the number is, wherever it's going. At some point in time, should we not know where it is and, use that? Where's it going? It's not that we have any control over it, but, if we're gonna sign off, or you're going to sign off on it, and we're responsible
Some of
for
it
it,
is-
someone should say, where's it going?
Some of it has been legal fees for some of these projects and grants they're applying to. They do pay Lisa Lowe and Associates.
Who's that?
They look for grants out there. I know there was one payment of $5,000 to Lisa Lowe, because they're the one, whoever Lisa Lowe and Associates are, they go out, I guess they look for grants, process paperwork for grants, and I don't know how often they're paid. I haven't had time, or, I just know that happened. There were also some advertising, they do receive income from incubator properties rental. So they have a monthly stream of income that comes in. It's all on the books now, so,
Well, where was it going before?
I don't.
I don't know if I wanna know.
I don't know.
But like you said,
I don't
you hit
know.
it on the nose, we need to see the report. I like to see a report on what they do. We don't see any report, we've never seen any report in terms of what's the ins and outs.
A question would be, I don't know if it's any of our business, I don't know.
I investigated, Joe.
How much income do they get a month?
It's not a question of, I investigated that, and 22 years ago, Danny Rivero tried to do the same thing we're doing right now as a former mayor.
Yeah.
That economic development is a different breed of cat.
Mhm.
They don't have to answer to us, they don't have to answer to the town.
Right.
They have to answer to the state and the federal government, that's it, and they both are protected by those two entities.
So why?
Why are we?
I have no idea.
And when you deal with them, it's like dealing with the state.
That's okay, but,
Well, why are
but,
they
but
doing this?
why are they passing something in this, I don't even know the name of it.
Because it.
Why are they doing it to say
Because-
they have to show us?
No, because that money used to go back into the town's general fund.
Right.
asking to
No.
keep it
They're-
separate so they
they're
can
asking to
reuse
keep
it.
it
They want to
separate.
keep it in their own entity.
So they can reuse it, rather than ask us for it back.
So in other words, they can do whatever the money is, whatever this money, I don't know, dollar,
It's a revolving fund.
whatever it is, nobody knows where it goes,
Goes
Yeah,
to the general fund.
General fund.
but not anymore.
No,
No,
they're
no,
asking
no,
us to
no.
change.
They wanna change it.
Oh, they wanna change it so it doesn't go to the
Yeah,
general.
so
Right,
it'd be
right.
like a revolving fund.
Okay, so where does it go?
They're,
To the-
they're
to-
piggy bank.
Well, who keeps track of their piggy bank?
That's
They
the
do.
question, no. Yeah, they do, and.
So why do we have anything to do with them? Because we have no control over it.
Well,
'Cause
they.
They
need
don't want
town
it to come
resources.
to our general fund anymore, they're asking
That's it.
permission to keep it.
Okay,
Well,
let's look at it this way, if we say, no, we ain't gonna do this,
Right.
it means money comes to us all the time.
Well,
Continues.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, if they're going to take the money, maybe it's a good idea. Does everybody do it this way?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, does
Well,
anybody
like
do
that.
it? Well, let's add it
If
this
the
way. Does
town
anybody
sells-
do it this way?
If the town sells assets,
Right.
then the town usually gets to keep the money.
Yeah.
So, whatever they sold, or the town sold, because see, there's the Economic Development Commission, and then there's the Putnam Redevelopment Agency, so there's two offices within one. So certain things fall under Putnam Redevelopment Agency, certain things fall under Economic Development.
Let me ask a question. If I go to, I don't know, there's a lot in whatever it is up there, and
Lot 55.
lot 55, wherever that is, it's kind of
And
like,
you pay, give us $15,000 for that lot.
okay, so where does that money go?
Right now.
I
The
don't
general
know
fund.
right now. I would. from
But
what
if that $15,000 goes into the general fund, that's under you, that's under the Board of Finance, isn't it?
Yes, in the general government.
Right, whatever, yeah, whatever. If the 15,000 goes somewhere else,
Then we just give it to them and it's up to
and whatever they do with
whatever
it,
they do,
That's what
It's-
they want.
yeah.
is that a good idea?
That's what they're asking.
I don't like that idea at all.
Is that a good idea?
But I think in all
You don't
towns
think-
in Connecticut, that's what they do.
No,
Well, I think we better find
no,
that out.
I don't think anybody does it.
No, yes, that's how they
Yes,
do it.
yes,
Who,
that's how they
where?
do it.
So you mean all the land that we sell in the technology park or the industrial park, we're gonna?
Is you take the money to
Invest
reinvest
it.
into moving forward to our
Who,
future.
let me say,
How much
Invest to
do they
what
need
in
to
our
do?
The
future?
economic
Why should
development
we-
of your town.
Why
Yeah, but
should
we
we
have
change
to
what's
pay for,
working?
but all the
But
money
then
didn't
the
come
best
out
thing
of
to
that
do is
fund
table this until we get
Yeah.
that
for all the
person here.
expenses
I
they've
agree.
had in the last several
who,
years.
I mean,
You need
it
to,
sounds like you might know the answer to that,
No,
Robert.
we've had to pass out of our budget.
Huh?
you look like the Cheshire Cat.
Yes, you do, yes, you're going like this.
I'm sitting here and you're talking about financial statements from those guys, and you've never seen a financial statement from the WPCA
We
Yeah, but that-
agree, we've mentioned that many times.
at all. I mean, we make money and you have no idea what we do with it.
Yeah, but you're not coming in here, and, the only thing that brought it to our attention is this thing, I didn't bring it. You know, you didn't bring it, no one brought it, they brought it.
Yeah, they did. Which one's that?
This
$5,000.
This $5,000. I mean, why are they submitting to us approval to spend money we don't even know what it is? Where it came from? Again, pick on the lot, $15,000.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, and they can spend it any way they want. Who's on the economic development that decides who's gonna be spent?
The committee.
Committee.
Who's that?
Well, Danny,
No, that's not that.
That's not
What is that?
That's not that committee.
Tony already said that Danny tried this a long time ago.
Well, did he
He
lose?
tried what?
Yeah, he did.
Well,
Tried
you know.
to get them in under the town auspices of the treasurer.
Yeah.
And he got bulldozed by the federal government and the state government.
Yeah,
Well,
but
why
right
is it
now,
there
the money
now?
is coming
It's
into
there
the
now.
general.
Why is it coming now?
It's coming now.
I don't know.
That's the
I don't know.
whole.
Pick on you.
They want, I
You
agree,
pick on me.
they wanna move out, and so they have complete control of that pot, a revolving pot, of which we see nothing of.
But can't we just ask?
Yes,
Yeah,
next
and
week, we'll have her here.
And request that if this was to go forward, that they do a reporting to us, not that we have any control over it.
It says
but
right here that they're
can't
gonna
we-
report to us, but what good is it they're gonna report if they're gonna get all the money?
Put anything they want.
Well, you know why?
I mean, the only person I'm interested in
You can
hearing
see,
from
you can
is
see
the
what's going
treasurer.
on, but I agree with you, I'd rather have the pot there.
Can this economic development group purchase land and turn a profit?
No, not town.
You know, it's, their bylaws are very thick. I don't know their
Let's just say, if
bylaws.
there's, let's just say, like Joe wanted to buy it for 15, okay? And you
Mhm.
said they have money, okay? They have their own checking account, they have their own savings account, they got investments, blah, 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 whatever they got. So, Joe said, I'll give you 15 grand for it. The economics says, we're gonna give you 20 for it. Of course, we're gonna sell it for 20.
Mhm.
Now, they can put anything you want there. You said they
can
made
do-
incubator,
They can do
they
anything
get-
they want. I know there's,
well, who put those buildings up?
Yeah, but
Within-
they
within-
always,
within
but
the
they
town
always
charter,
come to
within-
us that we have to
Within
open
rights,
a
if it's an
sale.
industrial area, they can only put industrial stuff, it's a commercial zone, they can only put commercial stuff, it's within our regulations.
Well, I
But does
still
it-
think
does it follow?
Beltonberry and Doug
What?
Doug
Does
has
it
to
follow?
be here.
Of course it's followed.
No, it isn't.
Oh, it's very well followed. I
If
can
you
tell
go down, if you
for
go
sure.
down to the industrial park in Putnam,
Yeah,
you think everything in there, including the building guy, with the guy that bought the land and all that stuff, meets all the criteria?
unless it went to special exception.
Well, there you
for-
go.
Well, but it went through town, it went through town process to get special exception. It did not go through town process to get special exception. Staples, for example, is a non-conforming, because it's an industrial zone, and it's a warehouse.
Right.
It went through town process and had to get approval in order to go there.
As
And
the
economic
crematorium.
development brought it through to do.
Well, but-
Crematoriums.
But
And
that's
the
exactly,
crematorium was the same thing.
exactly.
They follow town process.
But that's, yeah, I understand that. But it's one thing to say you can't do it, then the other hand is that they walk it through.
Okay, well, my,
And, you know, and
My
no one,
biggest
what are you
thing
gonna
is-
say no to, you know?
Right.
You know, little Johnny's gotta have his education, he
Agreed.
can't read, so we
Agreed.
need another, what is it, Scott? Oh, I didn't say that.
You mean special appropriations, or special ed?
but we're charged with financial know-hows, and that's our charge. They're charged with development of our town in the future and growing it the right way. They're not doing anything against the town of Putnam.
Nobody's saying they are.
Right,
one says they are.
But,
That has nothing
but
to do with the money.
to micromanage everything,
That's not micromanaging as far as getting the money in. I don't believe.
no, but what I'm saying is to micromanage everything by saying we need to see the dollar amount on that is
Why
tough.
is that a bad idea?
It's tough.
But they're saying
Why
they
is
wanna
it
give
tough?
us a report.
Yeah, they're saying it right there.
They're saying,
Yeah, they'll
they
give us
wanna
a
give us a
report.
And I
report.
don't mind getting the report, I'm saying that I don't think it's a bad thing that they're charged with what they're doing and what they've been doing. You guys are all saying they've been doing all this crazy stuff behind
No,
our back.
we-
I don't think anybody said that at all.
Said that.
That's your interpretation, because you're obviously siding with that whole thing.
No,
So,
I'm
you
not
know, I
siding
mean,
with
it's
it.
pretty obvious there.
I'm not siding with it,
Cats falling asleep.
I've actually been through the process
Yeah,
and
well.
struggled with them for a very long time, so
Did
understand
it
their
work for
charge.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
My concern with it is that we just went through, I mean, reading in the paper for the last 2 months about how a building permit was waived here, but wasn't waived here, and this just opens, I don't know, it just seems like it just opens up a whole can of worms that this type of stuff can go on, and who really catches the flack for it? It's ultimately comes back and lands on the board of directors, or, I mean, board of selectmen, everybody. It looks horrible for the town of Putnam when you spend 2 months in the newspapers and in the news and everything else about all these waivers, and this one didn't get a waiver and this one did. I mean, I think that that's all part of what falls underneath this. That I understand that they're governed by a whole different entity and stuff, but, I mean, they should have to answer to somebody.
Right, but they're charged with doing what's in the best interest of the town as far as I'm concerned. And waiving a permit fee for minuscule dollars to get a huge eyesore in the town of Putnam fixed and changed.
But you're picking and choosing, Sean.
Yeah, but that
It's a
has nothing to
personal
do with
thing.
what this is. First of all, I don't really know what this is.
I mean,
Somebody
if
needs to come explain
if
that
you
to
wanna
me. I don't
cross-
even
Well,
know, is this
that's what we're
all
gonna
the
wait
money
till
they
next,
get, or
we're
is
gonna
this-
wait until
October.
she.
And Sean,
tells
if
us, I
if you
agree
wanna
with you
cross
wholeheartedly.
where
They
the
made us look bad. It's
new
an eyesore.
development is,
The way we
and they
handled
sell
it,
all the
waiving
lots
permit.
that the town of Putnam
What
owns,
was good for one.
that means they
wasn't
should
good
keep
for
all the
other.
money?
No, I'm definitely not saying it shouldn't go to the general fund and it shouldn't.
Well,
be-
that's what I'm hearing you say,
No,
though.
I'm not saying that, I'm saying that let them come present it the way they're
Well, if they sell
presenting.
all the lots, I don't know how many lots, I mean, that's kind of, seems to be a floating figure.
Yeah.
And whatever they get for the lots, that means they should keep the money, but it's what you're suggesting when you talked about the $15,000. You said it was okay for them and they can go spend it as they thought necessary, or whatever. Does that mean, that means they can keep
No, I think
all
what
the
I
money?
said was, is that's how most towns do it.
Who
That's
are the
what I
most
think I
towns?
said. Most economic
Who?
development commission.
I mean, it's
All the
easy.
surrounding towns, how's that?
Well, that doesn't, that's.
All the towns
does
around
Tom-
us.
Does
See,
Thompson do it?
You know, there is a world out there.
I don't
beyond
think so.
that.
We're
I
not
don't think
reinventing
Thompson
the
does
wheel.
it.
We're
Well, we don't, I mean, she doesn't agree with your assessment of most towns.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know where this most comes from.
Yeah.
We'll let them come back and
Yeah.
sell it to us.
This
Joe.
is like-
We need to-
So let them show us the most towns.
This is
Show us
like,
the money.
this is like a brother and a sister arguing
Right.
here. Let
And
us
it's
get
the cart before the horse.
clarification
Right.
from Ms.
I didn't bring
Berry.
this, I didn't bring this on the
Yes, you
agenda.
did.
I will say,
Yes, you did.
with, the question, in answer to your reporting question,
Yeah.
they do use QuickBooks, so there should be some kind of financial record.
You know, and it's fine. I don't, I'm not asking, I don't.
Okay, so
I didn't ask it.
before we adjourn this meeting, at the October meeting, Denise will make sure that Delphi Berry's here, the mayor's here, Doug Cutler's here. So
Well, that'll be a long meeting.
so we can get clarification on the building official, our form, new policy purchase orders, and to get this cleared up with trust fund.
I got one other question.
Another question.
Yes. We were given by Denise, I believe, a formal policy that we had for bidding ordinance.
Yes.
For what?
That's a-
Bidding ordinance.
Oh, bidding ordinance, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we got it separately, I believe, didn't we, Denise?
Yes, the question came up and then I emailed all of you.
And this was dated November 20th, 2006. I read through the whole thing, and I don't believe we're abiding by a lot of this stuff in the bidding ordinance, which we were alluding to before.
And you say you don't think we are abiding? Who is
No,
we?
in terms, the selectmen.
They are. No,
They-
you said
They are.
they are. We're not.
All right.
No.
Or not.
Items costing, look at this, items costing, any item purchased by the town of Putnam costing in excess of $5,000 shall be subject to a formal bid procedure. All bids shall be in writing and shall be submitted and sealed in envelope to the mayor's office at a date and time specified in the invitation to bid. All such bids may be published at least once in a publication, and at least 7 days before the due date in either newspaper or other publication, delivered generally to the residents of Putnam. All such bids shall be opened at the selectmen's meeting and formally awarded to the lowest possible qualified bidder based upon price, recommendation of the department head, compliance with bid requirements and specifications, ability of the vendor to provide service if applicable, and vendor's references if applicable. We just found out we had $278,000 we paid for the parking, for the lot over by the school there.
300. 300.
Was it 378?
You said two.
Was 378?
Yeah.
And then it goes through the bid process.
Oh, wait, and you're gonna get the answer, their standard answer. I've been challenging that since they put it up there. They say it goes through a special, if they don't have the equipment, they.
Yes, if they don't have the equipment. This says they're not following the procedure as set forward on the ordinance dated November 20th, 2006. So I suggest everybody read, or if you can't find it, I can get copies for you with this, so you can read through this and see what isn't being done in terms of our bidding process.
I would like a copy.
So, what did you say they're saying they're using the state bid price?
Well, Doug Cutler, I got angry. I said,
It's less than.
you put in the school board $300 and whatever the heck $1,000 to do this parking lot.
Yeah.
And I said, did it go out to bid? Yeah, it went out to bid. And I said, well, how many bids? One. That's not going out to bid. And they said, no, Zig, whatever,
Sick.
Zig has all the equipment, and it's a state list, and they award them that bid, that's it.
And that's not what this says.
I totally agree.
I
You
mean,
know, they said that if you, what I think, you know,
Go ahead.
is that it was, I've had the same, about the same questions that Tony said, is that they're saying that they have the right to give it to anybody they want, providing that person is on the list.
Is on the preferred list.
Preferred list, and I guess he's on the preferred list. The question that I had, I can't believe an outfit like Cliff Green, who has all the same stuff Zig's got, and other I mean, it's gotta be some Robinson, and other places that have that, wouldn't bid on almost a $400,000 bid to put this in. I mean, it's not that hot, I mean, I don't know how hot it is to do, but it's not starting from scratch. The stuff's there, it's already been graded, what have you, whatever it is. And again, we're told that. And then when you ask the question, it's almost a dismissal as an answer. We can give it to whoever we want. And then I asked the question about, say, I don't know the fellow at all. I don't have an axe to grind with him at all. Is that the question becomes is that we rent equipment from him 52 weeks a year. And that fits into the bid also.
The bidding process.
I don't understand, and I asked some explanation of how that fits into the bidding process. That if he needs something else done, he can do this, and we're paying by whatever it is, a reduced amount by the hour. I am clueless. I thought perhaps tonight we would have something to come forth. You know, we had that meeting, last month where we talked about stuff, you know, which had to do that, because that money for that project was put forth, excuse me, Scott, by Hull. And we thought that, and I think Hull thought that, I think everybody thought that it was going through as, well, and certainly through the Board of Education, and that he said, and it's in the minutes, that basically said that comparing it to the roof of the grammar school down there would be a lower amount because there wasn't much work around and what have you. And come to find out, it got reduced by $10,000. That doesn't seem like a lot of money. But that wasn't my impression with regards to Mr. Hull. Whether he wants to admit to that now, I don't know. But
Mr. Chairman, if I may, well, I asked Mr. Hull that
see,
same...
you're a Board of Education member, we'll ask you.
Okay, I asked Mr. Hull that same question. I had a couple concerns. One was, did it go out to bid? And two, are we gonna pay for that lousy job? I don't know if you guys have ever driven into the paved school, but I'm no paving expert, but when you have a seam in the middle, it's one side a little higher than the other. I plow driveways, or I used to plow driveways when I was a wee lad, and that plow kinda hits that, and, you know,
Goodbye.
you could do some damage. So I had two concerns. One, did it go out to bid? He said, I was told, Mr. Hull told me that it's now a town project, that the town was in charge of that. And I said, well, ask the town if they're gonna settle for that kind of workmanship, because I was not impressed. So, and he said he would pass that along to Mr. Cutler.
And it moves right up to just past Cumberland. That's where they are.
where is it?
They're moved right up.
Well,
there.
I noticed
More
that they're putting sidewalks in. I mean, I have nothing in sidewalks, but you know, it seems funny. I drive on Walnut Street and down there, and they got rocks in the. I mean, I don't mean stones. I mean rocks in the middle of the street. I mean, the middle of the sidewalks, and there's spots that aren't even there anymore. I don't know. I mean, you know, we're not a decider of where people are going to put the stuff, but I don't quite understand that.
Under the capital budget, all those huge projects are put forth by the superintendent board of ed. But then they go to the town.
When it comes to town project.
Yeah, we all understand that, but then they have a disclaimer. If anything goes wrong,
Not me.
Hull saying it's not me, it's the town.
Yeah.
And it really bothers me. Scott's been in that kind of work all his life. I can't bang a nail straight. But if something is shabby for $300 and some odd thousand,
Just
they don't know about it? How does Scott know about it? How come the Board of Selectmen don't know about it? And how come the Board of Selectmen haven't taken care of this bidding process? If it doesn't go by us, the Board of Finance, it's the Board of Selectmen, the bidding process. I too have read that thing.
Was
and
it
really
your
bothers me.
understanding from that conversation last month that who actually did the work? The other I mean, we rented equipment and did the town workers then?
No.
or
No,
that's-
his SAS.
Sick.
So they actually did the work?
Right.
My understanding is.
But this
Well,
says,
he kept saying
this says-
we rent things.
Well, I think he was
but
talking about.
this says
two
it's
different
improper.
things. He was saying, with regards to the bid, and I don't understand how that works, when they do it, they've already got the equipment, so it's a lower, I don't quite understand what you're doing. I can see if you need, you need an excavator or something, you gotta go rent one, you gotta get, at least one or something. I mean, maybe it's cheaper to do it this way. I'm open to that. I don't have a problem with that. I just like to know what it is. I mean, I don't know why, and then someone said to me with regards to it, that this was the only outfit in Easton, Connecticut. I don't know if Easton, Connecticut means Putnam. But if it's a bit larger, there may be other companies.
Out there.
Scott,
In
Scott,
this
go back to
economy,
the
you
Board
think
of
there'd
Ed.
be about
Yep.
12 bidders on
When
the project.
you guys formulate your budget,
Right.
okay, you got to pay, the teacher salary is the biggest nut there, and you got the insurance, blah, 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 a lot of other stupid things in there you don't need, but anyhow, when it comes to major capital like school buses,
Yep.
you guys say, okay, well, let's get 10, because this goes on the town's charter.
No,
You know,
what we do on the capital projects is, one, we contact, like if it's on this instance, it's, with the paving, we contacted Dale Smith to say, hey, give us an estimate, get an estimate to see how much dollar amount we should put into that budget, okay? So, that's what we do. Now, in terms of us requesting other capital items, i.e. school buses, things like that, we get an estimate from, a couple school bus companies, and then we talk to the transportation coordinator and say, well, yeah, we got 2 buses with over 250,000 miles, and, we need at least 2 buses, and we put it into the capital
Just
budget
one.
that way.
Another thing with the capital thing is that doesn't wind up on the bottom line.
Right, so it doesn't add to our budget every
Right,
year.
so if they're getting 4 million and they have to get the same number next year, two
Like
buses
this past
are.
time we paid for it on
No.
our.
Yeah.
well, I'm not questioning who's paying for it, I think it's good that we don't raise the Board of Education money, because the Board of Education are like the people in Hartford. The
But
more
are
they
those
give them,
going
the more
out
they
to
spend.
bid?
The buses go out to bid, yes. And, this last bid, there was some concern, we picked the lowest bidder, or we suggested that the lowest
Yeah,
bidder
I
be
heard about
awarded, and the selectmen actually award the bid, because it's a purchase from the town. There was some concern that the lowest bidder did not have parts availability and things like that, but we were assured that, yes, and they were Bluebird buses, which we had already purchased 2 last year, so.
Now, when the bid comes in, like the $10,000 less on the driveway,
Yep.
and the buses came under bid as well.
Right.
Did you guys turn that money over to the town treasurer for the town?
Well, in other words, because it's a town-funded capital expenditure, the budget was for X, I think the buses came in at 81,000, and I think 81,000 times 2, which would be 162, and I think
Yeah,
we
it was-
budgeted 180 or something like that. So, obviously, the town is the beneficiary of the lower
But
bid,
has
not the Board of
Did
Ed.
the town receive that money?
It's not receiving money, it's not
It was
spending.
just
not
Not
spending.
spending it, it's not spending
I'm
it.
saying, if we budgeted 180 and we spent 162.
So we made 20,000
Yeah.
on that particular.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
We didn't spend it.
I can assure you that the Board of Education doesn't benefit from it. But
Well,
the
that's
town at the end of the year should have a surplus,
Right.
because they budgeted X and spent Y.
Right.
So,
Let's see, school's been open for 19 days, and you've got like 30 accounts frozen. And I asked Bill, how do you freeze an account?
But-
Interior maintenance, exterior maintenance, frozen.
Freezes them.
That's gotta pay for the special ed. Well, let that go in arrears.
Oh.
Do what you gotta do. So let the school fall down, and then we're back to the same thing, renovate as new again. Some other section.
The ones that I understand that he froze, Tony, are the ones that he thought he could freeze because he was gonna be, was gonna be over budget. And so he froze those arbitrarily.
Well, you talked to
It's
some
no
of the,
difference than
talk
if
to
I
some
was-
of the janitors up there who are trying to do work and they can't get the wax they need, they can't get the materials they need because the account's frozen. Dale says, I can't spend, I can't order it.
I mean,
I don't understand that.
I'm
You
I'm
gotta
familiar with
maintain.
it, cause I used to do the same thing myself.
Well, that type of person.
But you're right, our budget started July 1, so, you know, it's not like we're getting, usually towards the end of the session, you know,
You can
June
start
30th.
Right.
At the end of the
But it
year,
can see with
for
the,
Board of Ed budget, were you over, under, or at?
We're always under.
Under which?
Because if we're over, just a side note, if we're over, that money,
Yeah.
you talked about the penalty for your purchase order, if the Board of Education spends more
on you.
than we budget, each Board of Education member has to write out a check.
What a joyous thought.
Yes, so, and as you know, we don't get compensated for being on the Board of Ed, so we don't like the idea of
Neither
being
do
over.
we here.
So, But to answer your question, we're under, and that money goes back to the town, so.
Where did it go?
That, after it goes back to the town, I don't know where it goes. I'm assuming, and this is a big assumption, that it goes
Town
into
reserve.
next year, just like all of these bids that come in
General
on there.
fund.
So you
General fund.
start the year, when you plan your next year, that, okay, we had a surplus of X.
So, if I ask the treasurer,
I think it was $4,000 or $6,000. It wasn't a lot on a $16 million budget, I gotta be honest.
that's coffee money.
Right.
Not even that.
That's great.
I think it proves that we budget right to the penny.
No, it proves that in May, you
Bought
guys
a lot,
start buying
bought a lot of
stuff like
copy
crazy.
paper.
Or conversely, either we buy a lot of stuff or we start freezing stuff. And this year, because of special ed, we had to start freezing stuff because we didn't want to end up going over. So that happens every year. If you listen to the tape of our last board meeting, just last Tuesday, I suggested to Nancy that we always try to send more money back to the town, especially this year. But they all got a chuckle out of that, and it didn't go too far.
I wonder why.
I know.
Any other new business to be discussed? I mean, anything further?
Can you, Denise, when is the next selectmen's meeting?
October 7th.
I will say, there is a meeting I will be going to about the uniform chart of accounts. There's been a lot of talk about that. Whether, the Board of Ed definitely is, been heavily involved with that. And, about the implementation of it, so this will be my first exposure on that level.
And perhaps you could ask speaking to Sean's, Delpha about the Economic Development Commission outfits, I don't even know what they call them, in Wyndham County, how many have that provision in it?
All right, Denise, you have a big, long agenda for next October. Make sure you send out very nice invitations to those people you get here.
Merciless.
Any other business? Seeing there's no other business, the chair entertains a motion to.
You might wanna make sure you put a note in there to have them come to the meeting and explain that bid process that they do every year. You know which one I'm talking about? The one they do every year for equipment, and it's, you know, yeah, you know which one I'm talking about, yeah. Because they do it on a yearly basis, if I recall correctly.
The other thing, if I'm not mistaken, you do not have to go out for the bid process if you have a contract.
Well, maybe we should see the contract.
Yeah,
I mean, the
just have
contract
somebody-
has to be given by somebody.
Just have somebody come here and explain.
The only stipulations I found out is those that are a lawyer or something of the like, engineers, that you wouldn't have to follow the bid process.
Architects.
Architect?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Professional services.
Yeah.
For instance, WB Mason, we have the Board of Education pricing. So we're buying paper for $24 a
I'm not
piece.
talking,
No, but that contract allows us to, Caroline's one toner
To not
for her
bid.
printer is $115, so we would have to go out to bid.
we're not talking,
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying.
But that's in the bidding order.
What's the thing?
yeah.
It'll be
we're
interesting to see what it
covering that.
says, Bob.
You
You
know,
know,
as
I
far
don't, I
as
have
what
no
I
idea how they do
I
it.
covered that.
Maybe they-
Blanket orders and appeals to go again.
Maybe they just dance around, I have no idea, I have no
I'm just furious, to be honest with you, over our bidding process.
Go to the Board of Selectmen meeting and raise some hell.
Well, that's, then you wind up being in a difficult situation all the way around.
No, you wanna know how they go through that process. Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, Denise, they do it on a yearly basis, right? Don't they bid a certain different types of equipment?
But this doesn't say that.
I know what you're, I'm not talking about that, and to be honest with you, it's a nice piece of paper written in 2006, but all I'm telling you is what they've been doing, even when I was on the Board of Selectmen. Every year, we would go out to bid for certain items, okay, and SIG happened to be one of them, okay, and it was always 3 or 4 guys that would bid, for that particular service. Anytime we needed something like that equipment, that's where it went, all right? Now, I mean, maybe it needs to be changed.
Bobby, like they do, you're telling me that the
Maybe
Board of
it
Selectmen
needs
do
to
that?
be changed, yeah, the Board of
The first-
Selectmen does that.
Like the first Selectmen meeting.
Yeah, you'll find out. Now, I don't know if it's the first selectmen's meeting, but they do it at early on in the year for every club. Do you remember when they do it? Cause I haven't been on the Board of Selectmen in a long, long time.
The equipment is generally done in April.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
the
catch
following year?
basin,
For the following year,
it's
yeah.
catch basins,
Catch basins,
equipment rental,
Equipment
and then there's
rental.
one other thing that Jerry, you should just say together.
there's a whole bunch. There's 3 or 4 items, right? Yeah.
And then there's these state contracts that we can buy under, like for a truck,
So,
for example.
what I'm saying, why wasn't
I
this
know.
changed to reflect that?
Well,
I don't know.
it's like that, permit thing, okay? You know, that Barney pulled out from over there, like that. Hey, before you think everybody's got a perfect memory to remember everything that they do in here? I mean, I served on the board for many years, there were many times when we sat there and said, geez, you know what? We've been doing this for a long time, and we realized that there's a piece of paper here that says you can't do that. You think, well, perfect?
Okay.
Nobody's perfect.
Put another screw in
So,
the machine and
but
start
the
it up.
thing is, when you do, when you find a mistake, you go, oh, okay, then we need to fix it, that's all, we move on.
That's what I said, put another screw in the machine, start it up.
That's it.
Seeing there's
Go ahead.
no more business to come before this board legally, the chair entertains a motion to adjourn.
Mayor motion.
All those in favor?
Amen.
Okay, no abstentions.
I'm gonna, did we, when I first got on